Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and I think this story is going to be pretty viral once it catches on because it is interesting, but at the same time, there are a lot of things I want to focus here that the mainstream's not. Mainly what they want you to take away from this, and when I say you, I mean the public, is that the CIA is the coolest thing ever. It's the best thing since breakfast. Look how neato cabito it is. Check it out. They had these crazy masks all the way back in the early 90s. Okay? And there's George H.W. Bush, former head of the CIA. Here's what I think we should be learning from this article, other than the fact that it does appear that they had like these Mission Impossible style masks. Obviously not as advanced as what you would have seen in the Tom Cruise pictures, but maybe in the TV show they had back in the day, all the way back in the early 90s. And obviously, these agencies, and this one in particular, is a master of disguise, but for all the wrong reasons, in my opinion. And when you get into that, how this woman got into spycraft, she got into a relationship with somebody who was already in the CIA in the late 60s, and then she was brought into the fold. And we're gonna go over this article because I think it's important. It shows some of the technology. It shows how this, again, is promoting an agency that in large part is here to track, trace, and database every single one of us, manipulate the public into war, and create a full spectrum dominance for the military industrial complex, which is controlled by the predator class. So go see Six Underground with Ryan Reynolds and see how cool it is to work for an intelligence agency. So let's talk about this before we just read the whole article. What I thought was impressive is that the mask that she's using isn't of somebody that Bush was not familiar with. Apparently, it was one of her aides. So Bush thought that he was talking to a real person that he had met before. And we'll just get into it. This is the moment that the CIA's then chief of disguise donned a mask as she spoke to the unsuspecting President George H.W. Bush before dramatically peeling it off to reveal her true identity to him. Jana Mendez, who spent 27 years working for the CIA, was in charge of creating advanced disguises, including masks, for agents to use on undercover missions. Mendez opted to use one of the convincing masks she had created when she met with President Bush in the White House in the early 90s. The photo of that meeting showed Mendez sitting across from Bush in the Oval Office as she briefed him on the developments of the actual program. So if you see there, she's showing him photographs, apparently, I would assume it's this person right here in the suit, of one of their agents walking up, talking to somebody as somebody else. Now, here's a very blurry, zoomed-in version of that mask. There's also another picture of just the mask. And it says in this article that when Bush sees it, before she takes it off, he wants to get an up-close personal view. The guy does have glasses. Again, I'd like to see what it looked like up close, but pretty impressive to say the least. All right, so let's continue on with the article. Using the face of one of her female colleagues. So again, one of the colleagues, Mendez said Bush and other officials in the room had no idea she was in disguise. She eventually ripped off her mask, which was complete with wavy dark hair, to reveal her true identity to the president. And I guess here's a more close-up picture of that mask. Right before removing the mask, Mendez said she told Bush she was wearing one of the newest, latest, and greatest masks that she had just been describing to him. Bush had previously been the director of the CIA before becoming the 41st president and was familiar with disguises. Listen, George H.W. Bush was more than just the director of the CIA. He was a long-time undercover CIA agent asset, whatever you want to call it. Prescott Bush was instrumental in creating that organization. Okay? Be sure about it. I was sitting in my chair when I was talking to him. I said, I'm actually wearing the disguise that we're talking about, and I'm going to take it off and show it to you. So if you check it out right here, you can see some of these disguises, like, these Arab disguises. Let's not talk about those. And I think a lot of this again is pretty limited hangout, at the best. But he lit up like a Christmas tree. I'd always thought George H.W. Bush was kind of a very contained, but he was very interested in this. He said, "Don't take it off." Nope. And he got up with the Resolute desk, came around, and he walked around me, and he said, he's looking. And then he went back to his desk and said, "Okay, take it off." So this is where she talks about that Tom Cruise, before Tom Cruise at peel off moment, right? Once again, kind of alluring this into Hollywood. And the thing is that although she marries into the CIA essentially, right? And we'll get to that. Later on, when she divorces that guy, she marries another CIA guy who, was the inspiration for the character in Argo that was portrayed by Ben Affleck. And believe me, they're not telling you everything about Iran-Contra either. And George H.W. Bush definitely had his hands in that as well. So let's continue right here. Mendez was the chief of disguise when she eventually retired from the CIA in 1993. Now, do you ever retire from the CIA? I don't know. Officially, she spends 27 years in the organization. Again, she falls into the craft by marrying her husband, who was a CIA operative all the way back in '69. And she actually ends up being an on-the-ground officer, period. She says that she had the Office of Technical Service, and she describes it, what Q is in the MI6 Bond movies. You see how the agencies love to associate everything with Hollywood? Do you get it? Because the CIA is Hollywood. That's what it is. Intelligence agencies are Hollywood. They promote these agendas. That's why you see how cool they are, man. They're the coolest. Let's not focus on how the intelligence agencies, the intelligence community, if you will, in lockstep tried to sell you Russiagate, right? The entire intelligence community. They all knew it. They all know it. Russia. The entire intelligence community, well, they knew that there were weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. Saddam, bad. Weapons of mass destruction, bad. They all knew that Assad had gassed his own people again and again and again and again. Didn't matter if in 2013, by the way. You know what? Let's scroll down. We're gonna have to scroll down just a little bit on my profile here. But reminder, before even talking about the Duma attacks, and I talked about those right here in the new leaks of the OPCW and the 2018 hoax, right? Because that's important. Right here, if you want to see the May 2013 UN interview with this woman right here, she'll tell you that, well, actually, the evidence was that the rebels, Al-Nusra, the Al-Qaeda allies that we work with, that they were the ones that did those initial gassings that we blamed on Assad. That's really weird. That's really weird that the entire intelligence community told us another thing. Huh. So, once again, when I say that the Central Intelligence Agency is a master of disguise, you bet it is. This is a small microcosm of what they're really using, what they have used. They are masters of propaganda. They are masters of manipulation. They continue on not only through the Central Intelligence Agencies, but all these subdivisions and contracted out units that people like Edward Snowden worked for. The Straffers of the world, the Kissinger Institutes. They are literally infecting the populace with disinformation on not a daily basis, but a minute by minute and second by second basis. But hey, go to Netflix right now and have fun with Mr. Bruckheimer and Six Underground. It's going to be great. It's going to be the coolest thing ever because they're so cool. Because George Bush is cool. He didn't lie to us about the first Gulf War. No, Saddam is a bad man. Assad is a bad man. And we should just lockstep with everything the CIA says. Trump is a bad Russian asset. And now he's done some quid pro quo impeachable nonsense with the Ukraine. All the intelligence community says it, right? So there you are, guys. Please thumbs the video up. Like, share, and subscribe. Join the Burmese Brigade. We're on the verge of 40,000. I'd love to hit that 40,000 around Christmas time. We'd have to have a real surge in the next 9 days, but maybe we can do it. Guys, you want to help me out? I got a pinned tweet right now. You go to my Twitter, @JasonBurmis. Please retweet this. Please retweet this. I want the information out about McGregor. Forget it. You don't even have to follow me. Just go retweet me, please. I'm begging you. Go check that out. But again, 3 to 7 times a day on all sorts of different subjects. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about 3D printed homes. We're going to have a positive story about using technology not to enslave humanity like the CIA likes to do, but empower human beings. Okay? So that story's coming up, as well as the story on 6ix9ine that's trending. I can't believe he's getting out. But is that the whole story? We're going to go into some things that the mainstream media might not. And if you want to financially support me, it is Christmas time. I do have a family. I like doing these videos. I want to give you top-notch content, talk about things that nobody else is doing. In order to do that, I need your financial support. So $5, $10, $15, it means the world to me. I absolutely love you guys, and I will see you all on the flip side.